Welcome everybody to Ridiculously Raw, the most must-see show on YouTube today. Hello, friends. You're ridiculously over. Good brother Anthony Florio back with you at the controls after a very tough week last week. my net was down for the whole week, but as of 11:26 Saturday morning, back up and running, folks. So, very special shout out to good old MF Michael Fletcher for stepping in and filling in on very short notice, and he did a wonderful job. And of course, that's not the only shout out he's going to get. We're going to get to that later on, but he knows what I mean by that. So, with all that being said, let's dive right on in to this edition of Monday Night Raw tonight. Man, the action was so hot and heavy tonight that you know, we really gotta fly, gotta zoom through this show here tonight. So, um, with that being said, good old MF Michael Fletcher's here. We got the Phenom Michael Bullock, and of course, we got the Twisted Angel Didi Woodson. So, let's dive right on in, folks. Monday Night Raw live tonight from the Bell Center in Montreal, Quebec, Canada, the home of the 24-time Stanley Cup champion Montreal Canadiens. And we started it off with an in-ring segment. Roman Reigns booed out of the building, but then he was interrupted by Jinder Mahal, and then from there got interrupted by Sami Zayn, who received a monster pop because it was his hometown of Montreal. And then Kevin Owens got I think he got an even bigger pop, honestly. But then, before you knew it, Zayn, Owens, and Mahal went after Roman Reigns, and then Roman would get some backup in the form of Bobby Lashley and Braun Strowman. For me, this was the segment of the night, hands down. I mean, this was a really fun opening segment with the live crowd popping huge for Owens and Zayn. Um, I wonder. I wondered if WWE officials thought Mahal was going to get cheered too, because he legitimately is from Canada as well. But either way, it was a Team Canada versus Team USA, if you will, in the obvious six-man tag match once they announced it, which was announced. And it was very telling that the quote-unquote Bizarro World crowd has no problem cheering Braun Strowman, yet booed the hell out of Roman Reigns and Bobby Lashley. But man alive, that was really fun. That's how you start off a show here tonight. So well done. Segment of the night. And that crowd, ooh, that's awesome. And nobody knows more about Bizarro World than myself and good old MF Michael Fletcher. I mean, you remember it was our boys JR and King who started that whole thing at SummerSlam 2004 in Toronto. But nonetheless, this wasn't Toronto. This was Montreal. But it was Bizarro World nonetheless. MF, that
It
crowd for
was.
Owens and Zayn. Wow.
It was unbelievable reaction that they got. It was you felt it. I almost was pinching myself, especially when Sammy came out. The crowd absolutely went nuts. Then when Owens came out, he went nuts. Um, yeah, it was interesting. But like you said, the only guy out of the face squad that really got the biggest pop or the biggest show of love, and I'll openly admit it was none other than Braun Strowman. Oddly enough, the man that won the greatest Royal Rumble match, winning the 50-man Royal Rumble on Friday in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, and thus with the trophy and a sweet looking championship belt. But I didn't see him with the belt tonight. But well, that's for another night, another day. But I get what they're trying to do. They're trying, like you said, it was a bizarre world. It was really weird. Obviously, nobody really cares about Jinder Mahal. Jinder did get a monster heat coming in. I had no problem with that. To see Owens and Zayn get the love, well, you're talking about two Canadians. Like you said, Sammy from Montreal, um, and Owens from Maryville, Quebec, which is like I think Cole and even Coachman were talking about. That's about 30 to 45 minutes from Montreal, so he's pretty close to home on this front. So definitely a big shot in the arm. Great way to start Monday Night Raw. Segment of the night, no doubt about it in my mind. And I toss to my buddy Michael Bullock. So Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say this was definitely the segment of the night as well. I mean, yeah, I mean that crowd in Montreal really popped when Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn came out, and the only one from the face side that got cheered in Montreal was, like you said, the winner of the greatest Royal Rumble match, Braun Strowman. So, and all of a sudden, like you said, all heck broke loose, and it led Kurt Angle to basically make a 6-man match for later on in the night with all 6 of these men. So yeah, I mean, this was a crazy way to start off this edition of Raw. So let's I turn it now to Dee Dee Woodson. So Dee Dee Woodson, I give it to you.
Yeah, this was definitely a very good way to start off the show, and it definitely is the segment of the night. So it's like, wow, by the time you started having some of these guys running out, it was like all hell's breaking loose out here with everybody coming out and everybody just, going at each other. Definitely a very entertaining, very storyline built segment. So not much more I had to say about it. Florio, it's yours.
All right, let's move on to the first match of the evening, which was a return match from last week. It was Elias squaring off against Bobby Roode. I want to say Elias won the match via a referee stoppage, but I really don't know how to rule this. So, I mean, MF, I don't know if I should call cutout here or what the story is here.
No, this is a legit victory. This is a legit victory for Elias. The referee stoppage, winner of the bout is Elias. No, I'm going to rate it as is. This is a 2 to 2.5 star fight. It was a good match. I love the psychology of what was going on in the match. And for me, it's a referee stoppage. It's a referee and doctor stoppage because of the fact that when Elias threw Bobby Roode into that exposed steel that was on the apron, that exposed steel that hangs on the turnbuckle, he went chest first, and it basically created a situation that caused more damage to the throat and especially the windpipe of Bobby Roode. So no, the referee and the doctor calls the fight. The fight's called off. And because of that, even though Elias claims himself as victory, the match in my mind is a referee stoppage, and therefore Bobby Roode is unable to continue. Therefore, in my estimation, and if WWE is smart, you put this down on the book as a victory for Elias. Plain and simple. Nothing more to say. 2 to 2.5 stars. Elias is your official winner. Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
Yes, yeah, sorry about that. I forgot to unmute here. So, you know what? After listening to Fletch here, I'm actually going to give it 2 to 2.5 stars as my rating for the match here. So, yeah, I mean, it was good until the ref stopped it. I mean, gosh, I mean the impact of the contact that Bobby Roode had on that steel was basically, oof. I mean, it was a little tough to watch, especially when they showed it on the replay. So, yeah, the match was good leading up to the injury. So we don't know how long Bobby. I mean, if we'll see him back next week. So we'll just have to wait and see. So 2 to 2.5 stars. Dee Dee Woodson, I give it to you.
Yeah, I'll give it 2 to 2.25 stars. I'm still going back and forth whether to call it an Elias win or go just no contest, but I'm still going to go ahead and give it a rating. But it was a fair match, so not much more I'm going to say about it. I'll toss it over to Florio.
2.5 to 3 is my rating for the match. I mean, it was a solid match, even with that ending. And, you know, they had a lot of time to go through the replays to show, and for some ridiculous reason, they closed the one with the one that showed up close, that Roode's throat never came close to hitting the cable. Unreal. But don't read too much into Roode losing a match to Elias, because Roode winning a rematch was always a possibility. That was not the result here. It was obvious that last week's result was not a burial of Bobby Roode, and that these two are in the midst of a feud. And I could see this maybe being added to the Backlash card, or in some way, maybe a kickoff show match. I don't know. We'll see. But 2.5 to 3 nonetheless. Okay, now we have a legitimate cutout here. Authors of Pain against a couple of losers named Jean-Paul and Francois, who got an entrance, by the way. Give me a break. An entrance for losers. Trifle unnecessary. So, of course, the AOP won in 1:05, so we're not even going to read into that. We're going to read into this, though. The Montreal crowd was at it again. They were red hot for the Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion Seth Rollins making his way. And that crowd, while he was in there, they just literally, they went nuts. That's all there is to say on that. And then he said he wanted to be a fighting champion. Enter Finn Balor. And Finn Balor, right on the spot, challenged Seth Rollins to an Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship match. Rollins left it up to the crowd, and the crowd roaringly approved. So, fight on. There's your main event of Monday Night Raw tonight for the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship. However, just as the segment was really getting good, they get interrupted by the Miz Taraj. And, yeah, they sucked the charisma. They literally sucked the charisma out of that segment. No doubt about it. Just like Jinder Mahal usually does wherever he goes. But nonetheless, boy, howdy. But then, after they cleared the ring of Miz Taraj, Balor lays out Rollins. Fight on. Michael Bullock, we saw this during our Raw chat tonight, and man, we would have called this the segment of the night if it wasn't for the Miz Taraj sucking the charisma literally out of that.
Yeah, because of that, I have to give this the second best segment of the night here. I mean, I love what Rollins said during his promo, where he said, "Hey, I promise, as the Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion, I will be a fighting champion, unlike some of the other past champions, a la The Miz." Yeah, and then this brought out Finn Balor, and he said, "Hey, I want to face you for your Intercontinental title." Then then Seth Rollins turns to the crowd and basically asks them, do they want to see an Intercontinental title match tonight? They said yes. So he says, "You know what? You got it." So yeah, an Intercontinental title match on Raw. Woo, that is something. But then the Miz Taraj had to come and basically stick their nose where it didn't belong. I mean, I don't know what in the world are they doing there. To me, they had no business being out there. Let's be quite honest here. So that and the appearance of those two really just took the air out of this segment. So I mean, it was still good enough to be the second best segment of the night. I mean, it could have been the segment of the night if we didn't have the Miz Taraj out there. So nothing more for me to say. Dee Dee, what's I give it to you?
Yeah, I'll agree. Just second best segment of the night. Not a bad segment. Kind of. I guess you could say it's kind of wrapping up the storyline. Mr. Raj with Rollins and Balor. So, like I said, not much more I would say about it. So, Florio, what's yours?
Like I said, second best segment of the night. I mean, this was on its way to being just as good as that opening segment was. But then Mr. Raj literally killed it with some of the silly things they were doing. They didn't need to be out there. Rollins and Balor alone would have sold that segment, and that's exactly what they did. And that crowd, like I said, was red hot for Seth Rollins, and you can't blame him. I mean, Seth Rollins is a workhorse, and that's all there is to. He's our workhorse on Monday Night Raw, unlike our Universal Champion otherwise. But it is what it is. I mean, he wants to be a fighting champion. I love that. If it was me, I'd be the exact same way, especially with my mentality nowadays. So, well done. I mean, this was another good segment. Like I said, if it wasn't for Mr. Raj, this would have been right up there. But nonetheless, this was the second best segment of the night, and it gives us a main event that, for once, we can actually be excited about instead of some randomly thrown together 10-man tag team match, men or women. So nice to see that. MF, finally, Monday Night Raw gives us a legitimate main event that we can actually be excited about for once.
And it's about damn time because I've been waiting for about a month or so for something like this. So yeah, solid main event. I like what they're gonna bring to the table. It's gonna be a good matchup. Nothing more to say about that. The segment was solid for what it was worth, except like you said, the Miz Taraj brought in and basically brought down the intensity level. They kind of started bringing a little bit of campy comedy stuff, and that was kind of not what you need on Monday Night Raw. And a lot of people really poo-pooed over this pretty hardcore. So you weren't the only one that wasn't really too thrilled about it. A lot of people were really kind of giving it the business. So nothing more to say. Floyo, let's move on.
And we move on to the first of two women's matches on the night. We had my Punk Princess and the Dark Angel, Ruby Riott, along with her Riott Squad sisters, Liv Morgan and Sarah Logan, against Sasha Banks all alone, no Bayley in her corner. When all was said and done, the numbers game would be too much for the boss, as the Punk Princess and Dark Angel, Ruby Riott, wins the bout, 12 and a half minutes. Dee Dee Woodson, it's only fitting you lead off on this. You are a women's wrestling expert after all here, so solid match here. Very good.
Yeah, very solid, and probably one of the best performances I've seen out of Riott. I mean, she did a pretty good job with Charlotte, but I think she looked a little bit better here with Banks. And I'm going to go ahead and give this like a solid 3 stars. I mean, they did a very good job. But yeah, the numbers game just kind of fell into play here because, Banks was out there on her own, had no backup. Even though Bayley was watching in the back, I mean, nobody came down to help her or anything. She's pretty much kind of like the lone wolf of the Raw Divas. So this, like I said, it's a very good match. Not much more I'm going to have to say about it. So Floria, I'll toss it back to you.
Yes, indeed. Now, I told you guys about Ruby Riott. I mean, I know not a lot of people are high on her. I can understand that. I know a lot of people are not high on the Riott Squad, and you heard when we did the Superstar Shakeup a few weeks ago, MF was actually not all that depressed about losing them from his show SmackDown Live. But I think you might want to rethink that, MF. I mean, like Didi said, this was a solid 3-star match, and I got to be honest. If I got this is in my top 3. This is a top 3 fight of the night for sure. And yes, according to my notes here, yes, this is my 3rd best fight of the night. There were 2 matches that were better. 3 stars is my rating. Solid 3 stars is my rating. Good back and forth match, and a match that I want to see more of, just without the Riot Squad interference. That's the only downside I have of it. But nonetheless, this was an entertaining match between Banks and Riot. So is this all leading to the moment where maybe Sasha and Bayley reunite to fight off the Riot Squad? They could surprise us with a swerve at that moment, but I think they actually want the fans to be clamoring to see those two, get back on the same page and perhaps give the Riot Squad their comeuppance. But nonetheless, solid 3-star match. And I tell you, Ruby Riott has improved leaps and bounds. I think she's, slowly becoming the most improved woman on the women's roster, whereas Chad Gable was becoming the most improved on the men's side. And, I've talked about him being leaps and bounds improved, and same thing for Ruby here. So, you remember she pushed Charlotte to the limit at Fastlane and came out just short for winning the SmackDown Women's Championship, but nonetheless, big win for her. Definitely a great way to start off her Raw career, even though the Riot Squad played a role in the outcome. But a solid match. I mean, Sasha got a good match out of her, so I'm hoping this is the beginning of bigger and better things, not just for Ruby, but also for the Riot Squad as well. SmackDown Live, I think, dropped the ball, and hopefully Monday Night Raw will make the Riot Squad the dominant faction that they should have been on SmackDown Live. So, what do you say to that, MF?
Well, all right. I'm going to agree to disagree here. I do agree this was definitely Ruby's best match. And no doubt about it, she looked great. I think she's better fitted for Raw because of the fact that when you got Bayley, Sasha, Alexa, you got more of her range. The height-wise, the athletic-wise. I think she's better off on Raw. But again, I'm only taking a little snippet of her because of what she has done on SmackDown Live, which was very little. She really didn't flourish. Yes, tonight was definitely a great performance, and yes, there was the strength in numbers thing, and that's why the Riot Squad won. But at the end of the day, is this just a little something? I think we might see her possibly fight Bayley next week with no Sasha there so that she could feel what they do, and then maybe the strength and numbers thing comes back again and we'll get another victory there. But again, I'm still not very sold on them because I don't think they're legitimate contenders right now. And that's the problem. I don't see them being nothing more than just mid-card. And normally, when you make these kind of moves in a superstar shakeup, you're looking for people to make impacts, to maybe get new leases on life or new leases in their careers, a refreshing talent look that you can get. And unfortunately, I don't see anything that screams success with the Riot Squad. And that's why I said I am not angry or sorry or sad to see them go from SmackDown Live to Monday Night Raw. I'm still need to see more. The jury's out to lunch. Yes, this was a great fight. Yes, she did very well. And yes, because she had a more established star like Sasha that put her over tonight. Can she do that with Bayley? Can she do that with Mickie James? Can she do that with Nia Jax? Can she do that with Alexa Bliss? I'm still waiting. to be honest. But I do agree. This is definitely 3-star fight. Well done. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, it's I'm giving it 3 stars as well, and I've really been impressed with Ruby Riott. I mean, and I'll tell you what, I mean, I still think it's going to take some time for her to continue to develop on Monday Night Raw. I mean, who knows if she continues to develop very well. Who knows? Somewhere down the line, she could get a shot at the Raw women's title. So, I mean, yeah, there's really nothing more that needs to be said about it. So, solid 3 stars, and it was definitely a really good match, and I even enjoyed it. So, let's just move right along for you.
All right. Now let's move on to the 6-man tag team matchup. We had the hometown boys, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, along with Jinder Mahal. They went up against Roman Reigns, Braun Strowman, Bobby Lashley. When all was said and done, the winners of the match in about 17 minutes and 50 seconds to about 20 minutes and 50 seconds, it was the babyface team, Roman Reigns, Braun Strowman, and Bobby Lashley. Braun Strowman with the power slam on Kevin Owens. Second best fight of the night, 3.25 stars. 3.25 to 3.5 stars, I should say. This was a good and fun 6-man tag with a hot crowd that was just about into everything. And WWE tends to deliver with TV 6-mans nowadays, and this was the case here. I mean, this was a really fun match with some good work for the wrestlers and with a good hot crowd. I would have had the heels go over in a cheap fashion, or at least have Mahal be the one to take the fall. But that's all I can say on that. But nonetheless, this was a really good match, and if not for one other match, I would have called for fight of the night. But this, to me, was the second best fight of the night. 3.25 to 3.5 stars. Very entertaining match. Red hot crowd, as expected. So, well done, Montreal. That's all I can say there. So, nothing more to say. MF, come on in, and your thoughts on this pseudo Team USA versus Team Canada, if you will, because Jinder Mahal technically is Canadian in real life. So let's get him. Okay, MF, your thoughts on the 6-man?
I thought this was a good match. It was definitely great for what it was worth. So I thought it was going to be something better than that. But like you said, it was like a pseudo Team USA versus Team Canada fight. It was good for what it was worth. A solid 6-man tag, 2.5 to 3, not bad. Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
Yeah, I'm giving it 2.5 to 3 as well. I mean, this was definitely a good, solid 6-man tag team match here. So, yeah, you guys pretty much touched on everything else. So I'm just gonna give it to Dee Dee Woodson.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a 3.25 stars. It was a very good match. It was good to see, how these guys, could work as a team. And, here again, we had Strowman bowling over Kevin Owens on the outside, but this time he also got to bowl over Sami Zayn as well, which was kind of cool to see. So, very good match, which I think also led to a match for Backlash. Am I right, Florio?
What about Backlash?
There's a match that was made kind of off of this, where it's KO and Zayn versus Strowman and Lashley for Backlash.
Ah, okay.
That's what it is.
Yeah, that's news to me. But yeah, that should be an interesting match. Come back. I mean, you remember that tag team match they had last week was, for me, last week it was the fight of the night. Honestly, that's how good it was. But nonetheless, we'll see how that goes down. But we have a cutout here. No Way Jose, Baron Corbin. No Way Jose wins the match in 2 minutes and 40 seconds because of Titus O'Neil and that, that stupid, Titus O'Neil, became a YouTube sensation because of his little slip and fall at the Greatest Royal Rumble, which literally broke the internet. So we're not even going to waste any remote time on that. And this was a disappointing here. This next match I thought was going to be really good, but considering the talent involved, because you have, for me, the two veterans of the Raw women's roster, Natalya and Mickie James, but they weren't alone. Natalya had Ronda Rousey in her corner. Mickie James had Alexa Bliss in her corner. Natalya scored the win in 3 minutes and 5 seconds with the dreaded roll-up. So, but yep, Didi Woodson just mentioned about the Strowman and Lashley versus Owens and Zayn bout. And honestly, I'm going to be real honest. It feels too soon for another pay-per-view, especially with the Greatest Royal Rumble show on Friday. And I'm even more thrown off by the decision to put the babyface trio over in the 6-man tag match earlier and to have Owens lose clean when they're coming right back with this tag match on Sunday. I mean, that's a little strange if I'm going to be real honest with you. So, yeah, we're just going to park it right there. And now let's move on to the main event of the evening. Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship on the line. Seth Rollins defending the title against Finn Balor. And when all was said and done, winner of the bout in... I just got to get a time of the fall here. Just bear with me here. All right. These are some viruses. All right, hold on. It was in about 15 minutes and 25 seconds. Winner and still the Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion, Seth Rollins. He wins the match, 15 minutes and 25 seconds. I believe it's MF who starts it off. And MF, happy birthday to you, man. You get to lead off on not only the main event, but the fight of the night as well. Whoa.
Yes, indeed. And it was what we expected it to be. When this match was made, we knew we were in for a big night. We knew we were in for a big match. And sure enough, we got it. 4-star battle, unbelievable fight, unbelievable matchup. The back and forth, the psychology, the storytelling, it was as good as we got. If it would have gotten a little more time, we were flirting near 5, but it didn't get there. But definitely at least a 4-star fight. I don't think I can go any more higher than that. I know you guys probably will tempt to go 4.5. I don't think it should be that high, but a 4-star fight, definitely the fight of the night, and it just adds to the story. It adds to the story. Now we got Seth Rollins going to be fighting The Miz at Backlash for the Intercontinental Championship. Good luck trying to top this fight because this was amazing. I hope Rollins successfully defends the title because I would love to see a rivalry between Balor and Rollins, because if these two go for the Intercontinental Championship, this could be feud of the year. I mean, it's starting to look that way. Now you're starting to see Balor starting to turn a little more heel-like tonight. He did. He jumped Rollins during that segment, and now the way that the match turned out, I'm going to say it. I think the desire, the lust, all the things that, and I'm probably going to go a little religious here. All those things that we always talk about the sins, Finn Balor is starting to become that. You know, he wants something, he needs something, and it looks like he's gonna do whatever it takes now to become Intercontinental Champion. And that desire, that lust, that things that normally would turn a person from the light to the dark is starting to happen. Buckle up your seatbelts, because if Balor goes full on heel and makes that full transition from the Force to the Evil Empire, look out, guys. This could get very interesting very quick. Michael Bullock, it's yours, my friend. Force.
Yeah, I'm actually going to go just a little bit higher than that. Not too much, just a little bit. I'm going to give it 4.25 stars. I mean, this was definitely the fight of the night. I mean, kudos to both men. I mean, they really put on one heck of a match. I mean, they, I mean, all the moves that they did was just amazing. And yeah, Seth Rollins is still your Intercontinental Champion. But I've heard those rumors, and Fletch basically just brought it up. I mean, that we could see the possibility of Finn Balor turning heel. So we're just gonna have to wait and see what happens. So, fight of the night, 4.25 stars. Dee Whitson, I give it to you.
Definitely fight of the night. I'm going to go probably 4.25. Very good match. Yes, definitely looks like Balor is going to go heel, but you also got to think, he hasn't had a title recently at all. I don't think he's really had one since he lost the Universal title. I could be wrong, but I don't think he has. So, that's been building up all this time, and now he's going to basically do whatever it takes, take out whoever he has to get what he wants. And no, it's not the Universal title, which I'm sure is what he actually wants, but this is a good step up to getting back into that picture by taking on Rollins and getting the Intercontinental Championship. So not much more I had to say about it. Florio, it's yours.
3.75 to 4 stars. Fight of the night. These two continue to have very good and competitive TV matches, which have far and away been the best parts of Monday Night Raw in recent weeks. And like MF said, with the Balor attack earlier in the show, I have to wonder if it will lead to Balor getting frustrated and turning heel at some point. But nonetheless, it was another strong match between Rollins and Balor. I was honestly expecting a cheap finish with the Miz Taraj getting involved, but the clean finish here was a very nice surprise. These two work so very well together, and I really hope they turn them loose at some point on a pay-per-view. Not that I'm complaining about the Raw matches, but I would love to see these two on a pay-per-view. We know it's not going to be the Sunday's Backlash. Maybe at Extreme Rules in June. I would love to see that. So there's really nothing left for me to say on this. Let's just get it into our overall review of Monday Night Raw. I'm Bullock, I'm guessing you're not really ready to give a rating, or are you? I don't know.
No, you can, and plus, I think we want to give Dee Woodson a chance anyway, because I'm pretty sure she's got to head out.
Yes, that's right. Good point. So, Dee Woodson, let's get you in here, and let's get your overall rating for this show in Bizarro World tonight.
Yeah, this was a very, very good Raw compared to some of the other ones we've had. I do think the shakeup really has improved the picture of that we're getting off of Raw. Not a whole lot of low points. Yeah, we had 3 cutout matches, but you still had a lot of strong matches here, a lot of strong segments. Raw continues to work on trying to build storylines. SmackDown still has them beat on that, but they are getting better. And definitely, the shakeup definitely was good with the Riot Squad for one. Seeing Ruby Riot in this picture definitely improved what we see from her, because I was with Fletch. I was not sorry to see her leave SmackDown, because on SmackDown really the whole squad just wasn't doing anything productive. And so here we get them on Raw, and she looked amazing. She did very, very well. And so I'm not much more I'm going to say about it. I think I'm going to give it probably a 7 stars out of 10. So happy birthday, Fletch, and I will hopefully see you guys tomorrow night.
All right. Good night, Dee Dee Woodson. We'll see you hopefully tomorrow night for the Cerebral Smack Talk over on MF's channel, Brace Fan 95. But 6.5 to, well, I was leaning more towards 6.25 to 6.5, but after what Dee Dee said, I'm gonna go between 6.5 to 7 out of 10. I mean, tonight's show was a solid show with some good matches. The hype for Backlash could have been better, but it was an overall fine show. I mean, and it was also a fun show, thanks to a major big-time assist from the live crowd in Montreal. And like I said, they didn't do much to sell me on Backlash, which I think is a little bit too soon. If it for my taste, I would have pushed it back to May 20th myself. But nonetheless, maybe SmackDown Live will do a better job of selling us on Backlash tomorrow night. But nonetheless, Rollins and Balor stole the show like you knew they would. We had a very surprisingly good 6-man tag. I didn't have much hope for it, but it ended up over-delivering. And then you had a halfway decent match with Sasha and Ruby Riott. And then, those were the 3 fights of the night. And then Rude and Elias had another solid match, even with that stoppage there. Yeah, we had some cutouts, but we also had 2 really fun in-ring segments. The opening segment with Roman Reigns and all them, and the other segment with Rollins and Balor, even with the Miz Taraj sucking the charisma out of it. But nonetheless, solid show. 6.5 to 7. That's the best I can give it. One of the better Raws we've had in a while. Great job, and major big ups to the crowd in Montreal tonight. Y'all brought it. I mean, they needed something to cheer for. After all, they're Canadians. We're not in the playoffs. So that crowd really needed something to cheer for tonight. And I'm glad they got that opportunity. So, and they'll have it again tomorrow night when SmackDown Live comes to town once again. So a double taping, Raw and SmackDown, both in Montreal. And if you thought tonight was fun, MF, I wonder what your boys and gals over there tomorrow night are going to have in store for them. Ooh.
Oh my goodness. And to know that they're in Montreal, I don't know, because of the fact that there's a lot of good names on SmackDown Live now. Like, I know Joe's going to get a pop. Nakamura's going to get a lot of love. AJ is going to get a lot of love. Daniel, oh, forget it. Daniel Bryan in Montreal in that arena. Are you kidding me? You thought the crowd was loud in Providence. They're going to be that roof is going to fall if we hear Daniel Bryan's music hit. Good Lord. So, yeah, there's definitely going to be a lot of good stuff coming tomorrow night. But for tonight, for Monday Night Raw, 6.5 out of 10. I kind of tend to agree with you guys on this one. This was a solid show. It was good enough. A good in-ring action. There was a couple of fights that kind of were a little disappointing. Could have been better, but solid to good. Some of the segments were also solid throughout the night. There wasn't really one real bad segment. So I could give this about 6.5. So, yeah, absolutely. Michael Bullock, it's all yours.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it about 7 out of 10. There was a lot of good came out of this. Yeah, you had some cutouts, but the crowd really played a part in this. With the way they were during tonight's show. So yeah, we'll see what SmackDown Live has in store to see if the crowd can definitely top that. So 7 out of 10 is my rating for the show. So Floria, let's get to your Tony's take right now.
Yes. It's a shame I couldn't do it last week, but we went to the SmackDown Live a couple weeks ago, and 205 Live, and I'm glad MF brought it up on the last show. We witnessed a 5-star classic, that Tornado Tag Team match, Akira Tozawa and Hideo Itami against Gran Metalik and Lince Dorado. They stole the show in many ways and ended up being the best match of the night. It was better than anything on SmackDown Live. MF had it absolutely right. So we're not going to get into that. But we're going to get into the last 205 Live, which featured the Gauntlet match. It was supposed to be Buddy Murphy challenging Cedric Alexander at the Greatest Royal Rumble, but Buddy Murphy failed to make weight, so they had to have a gauntlet match. TJP, Drew Gulak, Mustafa Ali, Tony Nese, and Kalisto. And when all was said and done, total time of the match, 38 minutes and 55 seconds. Kalisto wins the gauntlet. 3 3/4 to 4 stars. This was another overall very good match. And I love that they went with the one-match show deal here. I love when Lucha Underground does it, and it's an advantage of a 1-hour show. The early portion, focusing on Ali, played very well and teased the Miracle Run very well until Drew Gulak ruined that for him. And I felt that Mustafa was protected well in the loss, and that Drew Gulak was the right man to beat him there. The Gulak and Nese angle also played well, with Nese's thirst for revenge being what cost him, as Gulak remained completely focused on his goal of winning and again moved on. And also, Nese's revenge should come at a later time in a properly built singles feud and not in a gauntlet. But Drew Gulak's run finally ended with Kalisto. Kalisto was unfortunately a casualty of the Enzo Amore era, but has been renewed since the reboot. And Kalisto and Cedric, it was a solid babyface match. We just had that at Mania, but him winning was not a bad idea. But I think Drew Gulak winning may have made for a better outing. But these guys delivered again, and it was a lot of fun. So 7 3/4 out of 10. A one-match show in the best way possible. And if you have 40 minutes, it's well worth a look. So I'm hopeful that MF and Bullock will sit down when they have a minute and give that fight, time of day. So, man, I'm telling you, 205 Live is becoming the best thing on weekly television each and every week. And they over-delivered again. A 5-star tornado tag and a near 5-star gauntlet. Unbelievable. So, let's move on to Impact Wrestling. Of course, you heard about everything that happened at Redemption. Of course, the big story was Pentagon Jr. from Lucha Underground winning the Impact World Heavyweight Championship, which made MF very happy, because you all know MF is our Port Authority on Lucha Underground, and I know once they get back up and running, he'll be hitting us with that and his Mikey's Mindset over on Cerebral Smack Talk. But of course, there's a new change in the announcer booth. Sanjay Dutt is no longer working. Josh Matthews is there. He's now working with Don Callis, who, as we all best remember, he was the Jackal during the Attitude Era in WWE with the Truth Commission. You remember the long-haired guy who always ran his mouth? That was him. And yeah, he's not as he aged, man. Let me tell you. And he was also known as Cyrus in ECW, and I know that's where MF better knows him, because he's also our port authority on the old school ECW. But nonetheless, it's great to have him in the announce booth. I think he's doing wonders right now. So, first fight of the night was Cage against Trevor Lee. Cage wins in about 5 minutes. That was a 2.5 star. Solid opening match. Cage overcoming the numbers game with Caleb Connolly and continuing his dominance over the roster. Then there was an in-ring segment with that was a backstage thing. Okay. Moose, Braxton Sutter. Moose wins in 3.5 minutes. 2-star match. It was an okay extended squash for Moose as he sent Sutter packing. Allie defending the Knockouts Championship against Taya Valkyrie. Allie successfully defends in 4 minutes and 4 seconds. 2 stars. It was okay. They worked hard, but they didn't have much time to do anything of note. I love the post-match to continue the feud between Allie and Su Yung and also to involve Rosemary. Lots of possibilities are there. No doubt about it. And then the in-ring main event of the evening, Scott Steiner and Eli Drake, the brand new tag team champions. First title defense, return match from Redemption against LAX. Winners and still tag team champions in just about 11 minutes. Big Papa Pump, Scott Steiner and Eli Drake. 2.5 stars, co-fight of the night. Solid match with a cool finish as LAX continues their losing ways without Konnan. And then they had the segment. Drake and Steiner were still in the ring, and then they were interrupted by Austin Aries and the new World Heavyweight Champion, Pentagon Jr. They all brawl and have a standoff to close the show. Great way to end the show there. That was the segment of the night. 6.5 out of 10. And, there wasn't a lot to write home about, but the episode was a solid post-pay-per-view show that reset the game pieces with some interesting angle developments. And it will start the long build to Slammiversary, which will go down on Sunday night, July 22nd. At the Rebel Complex in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Nice first step in that regard. And they also set some stuff for next week with a few good-looking bouts. So that's really all I can say on that. So that was a 6.5 out of 10 for me. So let's see what's on tap for this upcoming week. See what we have. In-ring segment with Eli Drake and Scott Steiner. Then we had DJZ, the returning DJZ, Andrew Everett, and Desmond Xavier in a 6-man tag against Aerostar, Drago, and El Hijo del Fantasma. OVE against Falaba and KM. That should be interesting. Rosemary against Su Yung. A lot of stuff goes down during that match. And then the main event, X Division title on the line. Matt Sydal in a return match against Taiji Ishimori. So, and I believe we're also going to have another knockouts bout with Taya Valkyrie against Kiera Hogan. So I believe that pretty much takes care of the card for next week, for this upcoming week. So that goes down Thursday night, 8 Eastern, Pop Television. Check your local listings for time and channel in your area. So, nothing more to say here. We're going to wrap it up here. Before we do, and before we get to MF and the Cerebral Smack Talk, of course, it's a very special day for a certain panelist, that, of course, being the aforementioned Good Old MF Michael Fletcher. It was his birthday today. So on behalf of all of us here at the Wrestling Forum, we want to wish Good Old MF Michael Fletcher a very happy birthday. I know he had a big weekend with his 2184 crew. And I'm hopeful that maybe we could do something, down the road, like a group outing or something like that, with the original crew. But nonetheless, MF, I hope you had a blessed day, my friend, and, been through it all from our school days. And here we are now, broadcast partners the last 6+ years. So you're the GOAT, man. You're the greatest of all time when it comes to the play-by-play and the hype man and all that. And, we're just so grateful to have you, and you did a great job filling in last week when I had my hard times issues there. So I'm glad I'm back and running. So happy birthday, MF, and nothing more to say. Set the table for tomorrow night, my friend. I know we got a big show in store.
Yes, we do. First off, thank you for all the birthday love. Greatly appreciate it. I actually posted a video on Facebook. I got a lot of people who did it, so please, if you want to go ahead and be my guest. I mean, it's incredible, guys. Thank you. 35, and I'm still going. So God willing that it keeps going, and much love to you all. You guys are the greatest fans in the world. You guys are sorry about that. I had a sneeze. But, at the end of the day, it was amazing, and I appreciate it. So, thank you. Tomorrow night, Cerebral Smack Talk, 10:30 Eastern on BraceFan 95. The aforementioned SmackDown Live. And right now, I don't really got much on the Mikey's mindset, though. So, if I do get something, then we'll talk about it. But right now, I'm probably thinking just SmackDown Live, and that's really it, guys. So, 10:30 Eastern, BraceFan 95. Anthony, just take it home. Thank you.
Yeah, we'll do, MF. Nothing has been posted when it comes to Friday night for Strictly Sports, but I think I'm pretty sure it's going to be our NFL draft recap show, our annual NFL draft recap show, where we do our team by team grades for each team. What kind of letter grades will we give each team for their draft picks and whatnot? We'll try to work on making that show a little. Those shows tend to go forever, but we're gonna do our best to try to clamp down on that, try to make it go a little quicker. So we'll try our best on that. Although it's not going to be easy, but we'll do our best. But like MF said, tomorrow night we got the Cerebral Smack Talk, 10:30 tomorrow night on his channel, BraceFan 95. Friday night, our NFL Draft recap show. I'm hoping we can do a Backlash preview show sometime on Saturday. We'll have to work out the details on that. But we do know Sunday night we got the Backlash recap show. That's where MF comes in. MF will host that. I'll host the preview show since we're going to have co-branded pay-per-views from now on. So, and then, of course, next week, Ridiculously Raw, we'll sort out all the fallout from Backlash on the Raw side. So that's it. So until tomorrow night for the Cerebral Smack Talk, it's your ridiculously over good brother Anthony Floyer here for good old MF Michael Fletcher, the birthday boy, and, of course, the phenom Michael Bullock, and, of course, in spirit, Didi Woodson and Derek Ferreira. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah. Throw it up Fortune 4 style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed Tuesday. And until tomorrow night for the Cerebral Smack Talk with MF on his channel, BraceFan 95. You've been watching Ridiculously Raw right here on the Zone 25 and YouTube.com. And remember, no matter what anyone tells you, wrestling is indeed actually real. For everybody who's been a part of this one, for now, loyal. So long and bye, everybody. Bye.